Lord, open us to the sea of your mercy, and water us with full streams from the riches of your grace and the springs of your kindness. Make us children of quietness and heirs of peace. Kindle in us the fire of your love, and strengthen our weakness by your power, as we become close to you and to each other. Amen. Gracious God, your Son Jesus Christ girded himself with a towel and washed the feet of his disciples. Give us the will to be the servants of others as he was the servant of all, who gave up his life and died for us, yet who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
You are the God of the broken, the friend of the weak. You wash the feet of the weary, embrace the ones in need. And I want to be like you, Jesus, to have this heart in me. You are the God of the humble. You are the humble King.
Friends, I have to confess that when I heard we were going to be celebrating Holy Week during a lockdown, one of my first thoughts was, yay, I don't have to do a foot washing. It's not that I don't find the service meaningful. I do. And it's not that I mind washing other people's feet. I'm just so self-conscious when my feet are being washed. I scrub them before the service, and I even put deodorant on them. But feet are feet, and mine have been around for over 40 years now. When Jesus washed the feet of his disciples, he took them by surprise. It was a job reserved for a servant, because would you really want someone you were going to have dinner with to see what your feet had picked up during the day in those sandals? I think not. And what about once the dirt is washed off your feet? What is then revealed are all the imperfections that won't wash away, the calluses, hard skin, and cracked heels of feet that have walked a journey. It's a job best left to someone nameless, to a servant, who we don't actually have to interact with or look in the eye. After all, when it comes to the people we want to love us, when it comes to the people who we want to admire us, when it comes to the people we want to respect us, we want to put our best foot forward. But the truth is, there is no real human connection without vulnerability. Peter, like most of us, avoids being vulnerable. I shall never let you wash my feet. But Jesus says you cannot belong to me unless I wash your feet. We are made to belong to each other and to God. But often we struggle because we believe that we are unworthy. And so instead of showing up and allowing ourselves to be seen for who we are, we work to belong by performing and perfecting, hiding our imperfections because we believe they make us somehow unworthy. The result is that we never really feel loved or loved enough, and our imperfections hold us in their grip and exert a great deal of power over our lives. How much of what we say and what we do is born out of a desire to cover up what we feel is fundamentally wrong about us, or as an attempt to make up for some deficit in who we are? This is why we enter and remain in unhealthy relationship patterns and engage in behavior that becomes self-destructive and damaging to others. And this is why we need a grace that kneels at our feet and embraces our imperfections, because like it or not, they're there. Because when we are no longer afraid of our imperfections, they no longer define us. They lose their hold on who we are, and something else begins to emerge in the way we see ourselves with others. Lord, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Jesus answers Peter, those who've had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. Martin Luther recognized and reminded us that we are always simultaneously sinner and saint. There are parts of us that are broken and flawed, but also parts of who we are that are full of potential and possibility, which is why we always need grace. And when we are vulnerable enough to show up for one another and allow ourselves to be seen, and when we have the grace to meet one another's vulnerability with empathy, the potential and possibility of who we are is nurtured by the experience of true connection and love. Jesus said, what I've done for you, you are to do for others. Perhaps at this moment, more than normal, we are being confronted with uncomfortable realities about ourselves and our situations. Many of us may be feeling vulnerable. May we have the courage to show up for those in our lives whom we trust with our vulnerability. But more than that, can we meet the vulnerability of others with empathy and the grace we have discovered kneeling at our own feet? Friends, grace, peace, and love are yours through the triune God. Amen.